Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, UFC co-main Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. All right, guys, it's a crazy weekend of boxing. Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. All right, guys, what do you guys see as the performance that stuck out in your mind? Let me go to Hector first.
The performance that stuck out in my mind, there was quite a few actually. I was really impressed with Charlo. Um, as you guys know, I thought Julian Williams was going to win that fight. I think I based him winning that off of what I'd seen before. You know, I saw him as an athletic boxer with with real skills, but at the end of the day, I think he might be dealing in the future with the Amir Khan's problems. I think that I don't think Julian Williams is done, but I think he's gonna have good wins throughout his career, but his chin's gonna fail him in the future, like it did against Charlo. That's not saying Charlo can't punch, but the fact that Charlo wobbled him with a jab in the second round to me showed that he's chinny, and Charlo, and to me he showed that that he's real. He showed me that he's able to deal with adversity. He dealt with some adversity in that fight. Julian Williams was winning a lot of those rounds, but he was able to stick and stay tough and land that big shot. And that's why I think that would be a great fight with Canelo. That would be a great matchup. And I know me and Jules kind of had a little debate over that, but I just think, to me, it's the unknowns. It's like, how well would Canelo take Charlo's punch? Because, Charlo can punch, man. Charlo's got a lot of pop, and he's a big guy for 154. We all know Canelo's a huge guy for 150. So it'd be interesting to see how those two styles would mesh. And I don't think Charlo's ever been a guy who is constantly moving. Even in fights when he's shown good boxing skills, you are who you are in the ring. He is a physically he's a big physical presence who looks to get the knockout. He looks to come forward and get you out of there. So I think Charlo was the most impressive performance. I also think Joshua destroying Molina the way he did. I mean, he destroyed him. Like, the thing is, if you go back and watch the Wilder and the Molina fight, yeah, Wilder won convincingly, eventually knocked him out, but Molina wobbled Wilder, and at times he made him look bad. He would push Wilder back against the ropes and made him look bad. Joshua, from the first bell, Molina had no chance, and it's not just that he's huge, because he's a huge guy, but he knows how to impose his physical just presence. You could tell from the first round, Molina went straight back to the ropes and was defensive the entire time. And it was just a matter of time. So I think those two are the performances that stuck out to me.
I mean, I definitely agree with the Charlo. I mean, that was a huge statement. I think a lot of people thought that the fight going in with Williams was a 50-50 fight, and it definitely didn't appear that way. I mean, it did for the first few rounds, but then after that knockout, it was nothing even close. Rob and Jules, do you guys agree that is one of the fights that stuck out?
I'm gonna come into this. I mean, I think if you want to talk about the fight that stood out, I gotta agree with definitely what you said, Hector, in terms of the way Charlo looked. I mean, rather J Rock and Charlo. I mean, they really went at it. In my opinion, it was actually surprisingly an even fight. Before the knockout. But if I'm going to talk about the performance, because I think, Lucas, when you were talking about performance of the night, I got to give it to Terrence Crawford. I mean, Bud looked phenomenal. I know he was supposed to do what he was supposed to do against Molina, but oh my goodness, I looked at Terrence Crawford and I said, you know what? The next guy for him has to be Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he looked sensational. He looked like there was really no one at 140 that can test him. And, the way that he was, not just really dominating Molina, but I mean, it was like he was toying with him, in terms of, Molina not being able to cut off the ring, and, that when he went southpaw, hitting him with the jab and just moving out of the way. I mean, Crawford looked phenomenal. So I gotta say that, watching Crawford, his performance, I mean, it really, that's a pound for pound argument. I know Rob may disagree, but he definitely should be up there in terms of a pound for pound guy, because he looks sensational.
I mean, normally I would say that beating Molina is not that big of a deal, but I agree with the way of how he went about doing it, and complete and utter destruction of Molina was quite impressive. Especially Molina, as of late, he's actually been able to step in there and hang with some tougher guys and tougher competition. So for him to get him completely out of there when Ruslan obviously couldn't, Mentise couldn't, well, until the end. I mean, I think that was like an 11th or 12th round knockout.
Yeah, it was later in the fight. Yeah, you're right, Luke. Yep.
What is Crawford was 6, right?
Seventh round.
Okay. So,
yeah, I mean, it looked like he could have done it earlier. That's the thing. If you looked at the fight, he could have done it, third, fourth round, but it seemed to me like he was really just saying, okay, you know what, I'm gonna get some rounds, and then when I'm ready to finish him, I'll finish him, and then that was it.
Right. And I think he was playing it safe for a few rounds. He didn't want to jump in there and get caught. I mean, it was smart of him. Can't blame him for that. However, guys, are we considering him fighter of the year? Because in my book, I'm saying no. I already wrote an article about it. I want to hear what you guys think, though.
No, I don't know. I'm such a bad year. It was such a bad year for the sport. So you really have to put him in consideration. Is he a consideration? Yeah, I think he's a consideration right now to make boxing to be fighter of the year every year, because he stays active and he demolishes his opponents. I'm just more disappointed that he didn't take bigger fights. He didn't take bigger risks. You didn't get the fight with Pacquiao done. That has to say something. He just, he doesn't appear to want to move up to 147, where the bigger and better fights are. So, and he really just recently moved up.
It sound kind of sketchy when they asked him in the post-fight interview. He was like, "No, not gonna go there."
Well, he was like,
inroad points, and he was like, "Yeah, I would love to fight him, but he's at 147." So,
exactly, yeah.
You're like, I'm not going over there, kind of,
They're like, no. So he has to be in talks and consideration because it was a bad year. But to me, he's not the fighter of the year in my book.
Can we all agree that at 140, besides Manny coming back to 140, is there anyone he's going to lose against, or even that's going to be competitive at 140?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Listen, Hector, it's funny you should say that, because I know this is going to sound odd. I know you guys are going to be like, what are you talking about? But I would love to see Terrence Crawford versus Adrian Broner. I truly would like to see that fight. I know what we're all saying, Adrian Broner doesn't throw a lot of punches and things of that nature, but I feel like this is a fight where, Adrian Broner would take seriously. He would have no choice because he would seriously get hurt. Do I think that he can beat Crawford? No, but I can say that a focused Adrian Broner is very competitive. Listen, I'm one of those guys where I like Adrian Broner. I think he's very talented. Sometimes I get mad because I feel like he doesn't take his talents very seriously. And I would like to see a very serious, motivated Adrian Broner, who looked phenomenal also against Molina. You know, gave Molina a boxing lesson. People thought that was going to be a tough fight because Molina liked to press the action. And, you know, Adrian Broner's focus gave him a boxing lesson. I would like to see Crawford versus Broner.
I'd like to see it, but only because I think Crawford would whip the dog shit out of Adrian Broner, and I like to see Broner get beat up. I mean, that's just how it is. But honestly, I don't think it'll be all that competitive. Broner does not like to move, and he'll be a punching bag for Crawford in my book. But
honestly, I don't know if Broner's gonna get past Granados, man.
I don't either. And I might put a little bet on that. And he might come on the show soon. I reached out to him. We got a scheduling conflict. He might have came on this week, but maybe we can get him on at a later time before he actually fights.
I don't realize Granados has a good record against top level guys. I mean, he was competitive against Frankie Gomez early in his career.
Right. He's one of those guys that was like, here you go, and thrown to the wolves early. So he's got a sneaky record.
And I mean, Jules, you know, I know we're on Facebook Live and everything, but I agree. I like the matchup. The way that Broner is going, though, I think with against Terrence Crawford, it's just gonna be black on black crime, brother.
Dang, Rob, you had to take it there, brother.
I'm just saying, you know.
Listen, as I said, I don't think Broner beats Crawford. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to go there.
I think it's going to be an interesting
but fight. I think it'll be a very interesting fight. I mean, once again, I think, Broner, we really don't give him a lot of credit. I mean, the guy has heart, you know what I mean? And Marcus Maidana, he was whooping him. But if you really look at the later rounds, Broner was showing a lot of heart and a lot of grit. And we saw what was happening with Sean Porter. Sean Porter really was bullying him for 11 rounds. What happened when Broner got serious? He caught him with that left. You know what I mean? And if he would have done that maybe a couple of rounds earlier, it would have been a different story in terms of who would have won that fight. So I just think it's a very interesting matchup. I mean, do I think he beats Crawford? Once again, no. I do think Crawford beats him, but I feel Adrian Broner very serious, takes it seriously. You know what I mean? Maybe gets a ear whipping from Floyd Mayweather, and I think we have a compelling matchup there.
And I completely agree, and as well said, I mean, the problem's problem is the problem, if that makes sense. He gets in his own way so much, man. He doesn't take fights seriously. He doesn't let his hands go enough. And once he actually does, I mean, nobody can stop the kid. He's got an incredible talent. And at one point, he was pound for pound. He's a multi-divisional champion. A lot of people forget that. What is it, 4? I mean, without looking it up, 4?
Yeah.
I think it's 3, right? Because I know you wanted 130. Well, yeah, 135, 140, 147.
But then he went back down and got a belt, right? He got the belt to 140.
Yeah, against Eller or Biev or whatever the dude.
Regardless, I mean, 3 divisions. That's still something to be said. It's hard to say, but regardless, I mean, the kid had talent. It's just he stopped working on certain things. I mean, he was a better defensive fighter down at 135. With that being said, I mean, of course, there was probably against worse competition, sure, and not as powerful punches coming at you, but it's almost like he stopped worrying about the shoulder roll, stopped worrying about defense, and kind of just tried to rely on power, kind of like what you've seen Tyson do in his later years. And I think if Broner gets back to his original state and actually learns how to use his feet and movement a little bit better, he can wreck some people. But the way he is right now, no.
I think Broner, no one can deny that he is extremely talented offensively. But at the end of the day, he is extremely vulnerable when it comes to defense. He freezes up. He doesn't move. He doesn't throw enough. He's got all these things that we can say against Molina, against against Carlos Molina. We can say against these guys that he looks really great. Against Emmanuel Taylor, yeah, he looked great. But when it comes to the big fights against the top competition, he's looked, mediocre, man. So comparing him to Terrence Crawford, like I understand, and like I said, offensively, he is extremely talented. Like there was times that I was like, dang, he looks a little bit like Roy Jones Jr. out there, you know. But when it comes to, you know, you got to be an all-around fighter when it comes to fighting elite guys, and he's not shown that when it comes to the top fights, you know.
And the movement is and always and will continue to be a problem. If you can move against Bronner, you're screwed.
Right.
I mean, he's screwed. Sorry.
I mean, see, guys, he stopped throwing his hands and started making babies, and he started doing that a lot.
Well, we had some other. Well, before we get away from the Charlo fight, we mentioned that. Do you guys think Canelo Charlo will happen, and is it a good fight? Personally, it's not that big of a fight financially. I kind of want to see another fight against Charlo with another good competition before I say I want to throw him in the ring there, because I don't know. I mean, maybe he just got that lucky uppercut in there, but hard to say. Regardless, I want to see him fight somebody else before we say, okay, he's ready for the big dog. Plus, I want to see GGG Canelo before I see Charlo versus either one of them.
Guys, if you don't mind, I want to get up in this. I got to agree. Listen, Luke, I definitely disagree with the lucky uppercut. Lucas, he timed it beautifully. I caught the replay. I didn't watch it Saturday night because I was busy watching the Crawford and the Joseph Parker versus Reeves, which was just a great fight. We can go to that another time. Well, it was a good fight, for heavyweight. But I did watch the replay Sunday night, and Charlo. I mean, it was a beautiful, beautiful uppercut. He timed it perfectly. But I do agree with what you're saying in terms of him fighting Canelo. I'm a huge proponent. I'm talking about on Twitter right now. I would love to see him versus Willie Monroe. I think that's an extremely entertaining fight. I think that would be a good test for Charlo, a guy who can move on the inside, but also who can bang on the inside, but also has lateral movement. And I feel like the winner of Willie Monroe versus Charlo should be the number one contender for Canelo. That's my fight I'd like to see.
Right, or an Austin Trout. That makes an interesting fight too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Trout. That's very true.
He beat Trout.
He already beat Trout, didn't
he? That's right. Yeah, he did.
Oh,
yeah, no, he did.
Yeah, no, he did. Oh
Well,
man.
he proved his worth that way. Look, let's not forget about the fact that in previous fights, Charlo hasn't shown that much power like he did in this, and I believe that's because
you're thinking of the other Charlo. There's two Charlos. You're getting them confused. One's got power.
Yeah, that's Jamel.
One of them has.
Jamel is the mover. He's the mover, the stick and move. Jamal's more the matter of fact, heck, you were saying it actually on our discussion. He's the one who likes to. Jamal likes to move too, but he'll stand toe to toe and bang.
He will. Is still. I don't see Canelo type of power.
Okay,
I don't see Triple G
he has power. You're just saying he doesn't have the power to compete with the big dogs. Okay.
Right. I say he's on a different level. He's not elite in my book. He's not an elite fighter yet. I don't think either one of the Charlos, in particular this one, I don't believe he's an elite fighter. He has to have extra motivation to beat a guy like J-Rock, which, like Hector says, he was in trouble in this fight. Even though he had the early knockdown, he should have dominated the fight and probably took him out earlier in my book, because J-Rock has a lot to learn still.
And Hector kind of mentioned that, though. Hector did say that J-Rock's, maybe his chin's a little suspect. I mean, he got wobbled with a jab. Now, it could be his chin suspect, or it could be that his jab was just that good. It's still hard to say, because we haven't got enough backstory on these guys yet.
I mean,
right. We have to.
Go ahead, Rob.
Sorry, I just want to see an elite performance against an elite fighter. Period. Not really seen that.
Right. I mean, what you're saying is basically what I did, is that J-Rock, we didn't know how good he really is. I mean, what's his best win, guys?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Honestly, I can't give you a
You can't
legit
think of
name
any.
with J-Rock.
And that's the problem is we don't know. We don't have that measuring stick to say, he's this good. He should fight, you know, Canelo now.
I can tell you he's better than Hugo Centeno. That's about it.
And I mean, so we just don't have that measuring stick. Um, do I like him? Yeah, and any power guy, I'm gonna take too, but that's just my style. Um, it's just I'm not sure. Like he said, I'm not ready for a Canelo showdown yet. I want to see him against somebody tougher first. And for him to and I thought the performance against J Rock was really nice, and I enjoyed every second of that fight. However, we don't know if it was elite performance. So.
But and another thing is, Hector and I, we were debating this also last week. I mean, Charlo can brawl on the inside, but he's also shown, past experience that he knows how to box, that he knows how to move out of the way. And, once again, I think, we look at the fighters, but also, we got to look at the trainers. And, listen, the Charlo brothers, they have a great trainer in Ronnie Shields. We know the experience that he has. And I would think that Ronnie Shields would have the game plan for a guy like Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, listen, if you're going to fight a guy like Canelo, we all said it, you're going to have a disadvantage in size. You know what I mean? You're definitely going to have a disadvantage in power. So you're going to have to move. You're going to have to use that jab. And we saw, listen, we don't know. Does J-Rock have a weak chin? It didn't seem like, he took some big shots. He obviously did get knocked out with a perfect shot, but, he did take some shots. And I feel that, Charlo may have the ability to have a jab that can keep Canelo at bay while he's moving and using lateral movement and only engaging when he sees that Canelo's not a threat. That's what I would think Ronnie Shields would do. Would it work? Who knows? You know what I mean? But I would think Ronnie Shields, if they get that fight, that the last thing they'd want to do is stand toe-to-toe with Canelo. That ends terribly.
I agree, and I don't think that fight's gonna happen though. Too much risk with little reward for Canelo. I mean, they got bigger fish to fry and easier fish to fry too, so to speak. So.
The thing is, like, who would you want to see Charlo against? Like Andrade.
It was a good fight. I'd like to see Andrade.
That's actually a very good fight. Yeah, Demetrius Andrade. I mean, I already mentioned Willie Monroe. I like Willie Monroe a lot. So, he became a fan of me when, he fought GGG. As I said, I love the way that he was boxing, moving side to side. I like how he was, standing toe to toe. Obviously, he was worn down. It happens with everybody who fights GGG. But I like Willie Monroe versus Charlo. I think that, to me, is a test for Charlo to see where he is at the 154 pound rankings, because he would have a guy who, Willie Monroe can show that, he can take some punishment and he can fight on the inside too. And I don't think that Charlo would be able to really have his way that he did with J-Rock at times. So that's a fight I'd love to see.
Little question to you, Rob, that has nothing to do with really boxing per se, but did Charlo deserve the beer thrown on
him? No. He was playing the villain, but he perfectly explained the situation. And not to go on a rant, but to rant. Look, you can only talk shit for so long. You can only talk trash for, talk
Come on,
so much.
Man. These are fighters, though. These are fighters. Words should not hurt that badly. I mean,
you heard
Mike Tyson told Lennox Lewis he was going to eat his kids, man. He was going to eat his kids. He apologized after and said, it's all in making a fight. You got to talk outside the ring, or your tickets don't sell. You know that.
No. If I'm Charlo, if I'm in the boxing game, I'm just like Charlo. I take this personally.
So you say, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me after the fight. No, you can't.
I mean,
Charlo didn't say anything. He held it all in, and he showed and proved. Period. So he has the right to say whatever he wants to J-Rock. If he wants to say, get out of my face, you're a loser. He's allowed to do that.
I think
No,
I want to get in this too because
go ahead.
I wanted to get in this too because you made a very good point. Actually, both of you guys did, Rob, because you look at how Tyson said about he was going to eat Lennox Lewis's children, and Lennox Lewis, he was calm. He said, "Listen, I understand. Tyson is just doing it to sell tickets. Fine." But on the flip side, you have Ali versus Frazier, right? As much as I love Ali, I adore Ali. May he rest in peace. Some of the things he said. Some of the things he said to Joe Frazier, call him a gorilla, call him an Uncle Tom, and listen, Frazier was like, I'm gonna take it to the ring, and I think certain fighters, they react a certain way, so you kind of see the point. You kind of say, okay, he's selling the tickets, but then I hear what you're saying, Rob. You're like, listen, you know what? You're taking it too personal. So now we're going to go in the ring and I'm going to show you, you have consequences for your actions. So to me, it's a mixed bag. Some fighters take it personal. Some fighters don't, they have that right to.
And it's not even that. We're talking about J-Rock. We're talking about a fighter who might try to talk trash to sell tickets, but it ain't going to sell very many. No, it's not going to. You talking about Tyson, an elite fighter who's definitely going to act crazy because that's why he is worth all the millions of dollars compared to somebody who's worth less than 100,000 maybe, or 100,000.
I do understand, like he feels he disrespected him and he was talking shit. But I mean, I think at the end of the night, you should be able to just hug it out. These are two guys that put it all on the line. This is a dangerous sport. And, he reacted the way he did emotionally, and he suffered the consequences. That's just the way it is. He reacted that way, and the fans didn't like it, and that's just the way it is. You should be able to...
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I had no idea what he said. Like, is it anything above the average trash talk?
No, but if we're gonna hug it out at the end of the ring,
that's almost every fight. That's almost every fight. Get over it.
You sing "I love you, love me."
It'd be one thing if he whipped your ass and then you don't want to shake his hand. That's more understandable. You got trash.
It wasn't even like
Broner. You got knocked out. But no,
it wasn't even like Broner and Paulie.
No, look
about Paulie's side piece, dude.
You my ass, I'm gonna shake your hand because that's doing something. I want to shake your hand because you whooped my ass. That's to me. That's.
But we left one crucial fighter out, and probably the best measuring stick for Charlo in order to get to a Canelo fight would be Lara. No?
Thank you.
Y'all don't want
to make for interesting TV. Nobody wants to watch it. I mean, except hardcore boxing fans. The casual fan is going to turn that shit off.
Yeah, but they're both trained by Ronnie Shields, right?
That's true.
I think that may be a huge.
At least.
Yeah, I think Ronnie Shields is like. I don't know if Ronnie wants to take that risk, in terms of having both of his guys in the camp fight each other. I don't know, maybe, but I doubt it. I would see it.
The thing is, if they want to make Charlo, the sheriff of the division, I saw that somewhere on Twitter. He's the sheriff. They want to do that, then it would be a terrible risk to put him in with Lara at this point.
Lara
risk against anybody. So
Lara to me is the sheriff. And he has the most experience. He's the champ. Andre is the measuring stick I want to see, because I think that's going to be another black on black because I see Andre beating the brakes off the chart. I think he's too skilled.
I don't hear hardly any of that. I don't know what you just said. All I heard was beat the brakes. That's about all I got. Rob, I think
can you hear me?
There you go. It's sounding a little better now.
Okay. Lara, to me, is the sheriff. He's the gatekeeper in the division. He's the one who's been in there the longest. He's still a champion. That's who your sheriff is. Andre is a measuring stick. I think Andre's gonna be another case of black on black crime because I think he's gonna murder Charlo.
I was gonna say we could call Andre the gatekeeper, but Andre could turn out to be the sheriff. I mean, he's been pretty much untouched. So, did Charlo beat Veins? Does that happen?
Who?
Veins?
No.
Nah, I don't think that fight happened. I don't think so.
Oh, so
no. Lara and Bandes fought.
Yeah, I knew they fought. They fought twice. Ugh. Both of them were pretty horrible. But while we've gone through, we've talked about Crawford and how he's not necessarily going to be fighter of the year. I kind of want to go around and say who do you guys think the fighter of the year is, because there's not enough boxing and for the rest of the year to say one of these guys can steal it, unless you might want to give it to B-Hop, which went over Joe Smith for me is not going to do it. But Hector, let's go to you. Who's your fighter of the year?
Oh, my fighter of the year.
If you need to skip, you can. You look like you were
yeah.
Deep thought.
Give me some time. Give me some time. I'm trying to think.
Rob,
of
you
all
got
the
yours in
fighters.
your head, probably. I already know.
Y'all aren't gonna like it.
Hey,
No.
that makes for a good show. Let's give it to us.
Andre Ward.
Yeah, I don't like it. I hate it.
He did. He did it. He moved up in weight. He won 3 fights, and he's the undisputed champion. Give the man his due credit. After all time, he proved it. Okay, give him his due credit. I don't want.
If I thought he beat Kovalev, I would definitely give him fighter of the year, because you're right. He did move up in weight, and to take on one of the best pound for pound and to beat him like that, then that would definitely say something. However, me and a lot of other people like me did not see Andre Ward win that fight, and I can't in good mind and conscience give it to him. But I definitely understand where you're coming from with that pick. I can't be too mad at it. I'm not as mad as what you expect me to be, Rob. Jules?
Help me out on
actually, Rob's gonna be mad at me for this one, but I got to give it to Lomachenko. I got to give it to Loma. I have him as my fighter this year. Once again, I say it because Nicholas Walters, before that fight when that fight was announced, I thought it was a 50-50 fight. I said it can go either way. I was really going back and forth. I thought Walters can come for the knockout. Lomachenko could outbox him, and Lomachenko, I mean, it was a masterful performance. I think I watched that fight maybe like 4 times already, and it was just a beauty. I really did. I was just studying it like it was a freaking exam. The movements, the angles, and once again making an elite fighter quit. And I think that's really what made me say, you know what, this guy is legit. When you can make an elite fighter quit, not because he's hurt, but because he's frustrated and because you mentally beat him. Because once again, we've all heard it from a lot of fighters that boxing is more mental than physical. You have the physical the aspect of it, but it's mental, right? And when you can make a fighter quit, that's a big deal for me, and I got to give it to Lomo.
I was gonna say Lomachenko actually, and so Rob's
Yeah.
is heated right now, but
I know that's why I did it too.
I mean, Rocky Martinez is no easy out. I mean, he is a former champ. I think Mikey Garcia knocked him out, but other than that, and Mikey Garcia is, arguably one of the top pound for pound as well.
Definitely.
So to see the way he handled Martinez, and then to come in and just embarrass an undefeated Nicholas Walters was astonishing, to say the least. But not only that, he went from, Lomachenko fighting this weekend to, oh man, Lomachenko's fight. We need to watch this. He went from that fighter that was interesting to now is like must-see for me. He's just must-see TV. And there's this big controversy, and people are kind of mad about Lomachenko and people liking Lomachenko and comparing him to Rigondeaux, I don't think that style comparison is even fair. Lomachenko is a much more offensive fighter than defensive. So it's completely different styles to me, but I don't see why they're getting mad about that. But that's neither here nor there. Lomachenko to me would have to be my clear. If Andre Ward or Kovalev, either one of them was like a more decisive win, I would give it to them. But it didn't happen that way, so I got to give it to Lomachenko. Hector, you got it yet? You look like you're writing stuff down over there.
I'm looking. Hey, okay, I got another one. That is a possibility. I think Cole Frampton should be in the discussion.
That's a good, yeah.
He had a really, I believe he had the win against Scott Hewig. That was 2016, I think, the beginning, and the win over Leo Santa Cruz. That was a fucking awesome fight. So
it really was, yeah. He got up off the canvas to win that one.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually, yeah, I really, really forgot about Carl Frampton because that Leo Santa Cruz fight was really good. And, one thing that impressed me, Hector, to elaborate on your point about Carl Frampton is that, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know Carl Frampton could really bang like that. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, he was really going toe to toe, and I didn't think he had it in him. So that's actually a good point.
Oh, man. So, Rob, you want to change or have your input here? I'm trying to get our actual fight of the year so I can update and maybe send out an article on it, something.
No, I was just gonna say Carl Frampton if I had to pick somebody else. Carl Frampton to me proved a lot. Just like Jules said, I didn't think he could bang either. And we can talk about this in a minute, but I'm very
close to the camera. I was seeing up your nose and stuff, and I had to say something. It was getting a little uncomfortable.
I'm making sure y'all can hear me because that's a unanimous decision right there, Carl Frampton.
Carl Frampton. I think it did kind of switch our terms of thinking. He got under my radar, so it was a good pickup, Hector. It sounds like he kind of swooped in there and got it from us. Lomachenko is probably going to be a runner-up, though, from the sound of it.
No.
Sorry. You're outbid there, Rob.
I didn't hear Hector say nothing about Lomachenko.
Well, I mean, Lomachenko's incredible, man. You cannot deny his.
Now we got to do a runner-up, though. So, runner-up, Hector. You're going to be kind of a tiebreaker here. Is it either going to be Lomachenko or Andre Ward?
No, it's not Andre Ward, man.
Okay,
come on.
There we go.
Listen, I love Andre Ward. Like, don't get me wrong. I just don't think he won that fight, man. I think
Jules, scorecard won that fight.
Huh?
And listen. I still have it a draw. I watched it again. I actually before the last after the last Tough Talk Tuesday that we did, and I rescored it, and I'm not mad if it went to Kovalev. I'm not mad it went to Ward. I really still had it a draw. I mean, I felt like Kovalev was dominating the first half of the fight. He obviously had that knockdown, but Andre Ward picked it up in my opinion from rounds like 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I did have Kovalev maybe like round 10 that he won, but there was some swing rounds that could have went either way. And my point about it is that, case in point, look, remember Pacquiao versus Marquez 1, where, Pacquiao had knocked Marquez down 3 times, and, it ended up being a draw. And, it got to the point where it's like, okay, how could it have been a draw if, Marquez didn't dominate rounds like 2 to 12, And for me, it was kind of like the same thing with Andre Ward. I feel like if Marquez and Pacquiao 1 was a draw, then I felt with the rounds that was so close between Ward and Kovalev, I had to score 114.
And technically, Pacquiao should have won. There was a scoring error.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, Luke, you're very right. Yeah. Somebody actually messed up. Yeah.
I'll say this. I don't think a win over Alexander Brand and a questionable win over Kovalev is enough to give you fighter of the year. If he had a dominant performance, like I agree, like he showed a lot of resilience coming back from hitting the canvas, and he did sort of take over the fight. But I would need to see more of a dominant performance for him to take fighter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
See, this stuff right here is why Tyson Fury wants to kill himself.
God damn. We're gonna get kicked off Facebook Live, man.
Y'all show these fighters.
Somebody's reporting this shit right now.
I'm just you gotta show him respect, man. He beat the biggest fighter out there. Period. Did we see Triple G versus Canelo, guy?
No, you're right, Rob. We didn't see that.
Man, all right. Let's move to fight of the year. I think we're gonna have to give that one to Frampton too, right? Frampton Santa Cruz.
Yeah, hands down.
It's either that or Thurman Porter, right? And Thurman Porter just didn't. I mean, it was good. It was definitely a good fight, but that's not.
Yeah,
not
but you're still.
I mean, I have it as my runner-up. It will be my runner-up, but yeah, Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz, hands down. That was a great fight.
I think Salido Vargas is up there too.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was a good fight too.
Vargas.
But for you, Hector and Rob, does it overthrow Frampton Santa Cruz?
I think so. I thought that was a hell of a fight.
I would go Frampton Santa Cruz one. I just thought
the blood, all the blood.
The blood, man. You just want to see
there was no heavy blood in Frampton.
I'll say that there was probably more drama, but I don't know. That was a tough call.
Oh, guys, wait, hold on. Don't forget about Quadras versus Chocolatito. That was a really good fight.
Yeah, that was good. They're gonna rematch that, aren't they?
They should.
I think it was. I don't know if it was confirmed. I know they were talking about it, but I don't know if it was confirmed.
Who?
No, that's right, Rob. I forgot.
What did you say, Jules? I'm sorry. What did you say?
No, I was saying Chocolatito versus Quadras. That was also a good fight. I had that a really good fight.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't like Chocolatito. Sorry.
Yeah, but all right. So yeah, it sounds like we got that down. As far as the Hopkins Joe Smith, I mean, do I really need to do predictions on this fight?
We kind of did last week, remember?
We kind of did, but I mean, we kind of goes without saying for the most part. No offense to Joe Smith, I just don't think he's ready for anything like that.
I just really don't know how good Joe Smith is. I mean, he knocked out from far in the first round, but that doesn't really prove a lot. You're talking about Hopkins. Hopkins is old, so really old.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's kind of those things you just never know. I mean,
yeah,
break down. Age wears on you.
And he clearly has power, so who knows? I think Hopkins, you'd be dumb to go against Hopkins.
I mean, it was a flush shot, so it's hard to judge his power. But you also have to think about, I mean, Stevenson didn't knock Fonfara out, did he? I mean, did that go? That went 12, right? I mean, I'm not crazy, right?
Yeah, he knocked him down.
No, that went 12.
But he didn't knock him out, no.
He didn't knock him out. No, he didn't knock him out.
So to get knocked out in the first round, maybe he got caught cold. That's definitely a possibility. But, I mean, it still says something.
Well, yeah, and he took some big shots from Chavez Jr., and Chavez Jr. is not a light puncher. So, we can't say that, Fonfara has no chin or can't take a punch, because
right.
Chavez Jr. can hit too. So
Chavez Jr. and Stevenson, I mean, those pretty big names.
Cleverly.
Cleverly.
He went to war with Cleverly, and
Fonfair is no rollover, that's for sure. So to see the way he got knocked out, I mean, he had Joe Smith hurt, and I think he just got overzealous with it. But regardless, I mean, it still says a lot. So I think everybody's hoping Hopkins wins. I mean, it's kind of what it's there for. It's, you know, his swan song, so to speak. So hopefully he doesn't get, you know, knocked out like that. But I think Hopkins is too smart. He's not going to drop his hands like Fonfair did and get overexcited and get knocked out. But you never know. I'll still be watching, of course. I mean, we're all boxing fans, so why not? Now, really not a whole lot left to go over. I do kind of want to talk more about some of the awards here. Now, Breakout Fighter of the Year, who would you guys have for that?
Oscar Valdez.
That's a good one.
I would probably go with Oscar Valdez just based on how dominant he's been this year. He has potential to be a really top-notch elite fighter. Who wouldn't want to see him fighting some of the top guys? You know, that, if I'm not mistaken, is that Lomachenko's division as well, and Walters and all that, right? It's 126.
I believe so. All right. Trainer of the Year.
Oh, I got to go with John David Jackson. I got to go with John David Jackson. I think he's doing a marvelous job with. I think he did a marvelous job with Curtis Stevens. And you know, once again, I still had the fight Ward versus Kovalev a draw, but still, you know, he kept his composure and, you know, really gave some great instructions, you know, for Kovalev. So yeah, for me, it's John David Jackson.
Rob, no input there. Not Virgil Hunter. Telling Andre,
I love
Andre Ward in the corner. He said, "Champions, get up! You got up. Ali got up. Frazier got up."
Look, listen, Virgil Hunter is a hell of a trainer and motivator. Okay, I even liked what he did with Amir Khan versus Canelo. I liked how he trained Amir Khan for that fight. I love Virgil Hunter, but Trainer of the Year is very hard this year to me because there's a lot of bumps and bruises. Honestly, there are a lot of bumps and bruises for trainers and fighters this year. You can honestly pick Canelo's corner because they got him the wins. You don't like them, but they got him.
I mean, you can get wins off the fighter itself. That doesn't even necessarily mean that the trainer is all that great. I mean, there's a lot of that going around. You can't say that the trainer, because, I mean, he's got a lot of yes men. I mean, you'll see him do some barely little pad work, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's done. Like, they're like, "Oh, great work, Canelo." Like, you didn't even try.
Jules, back me up on this one, Jules. Miguel Cotto himself can be possibly a Hall of Fame type trainer. And Miguel Cotto, Freddie Roach, for you to coach against that, come on, you got to give him some credit, Jules.
Yeah, look, Rob, you know I'm going to give you some credit, brother. I think every boxer can be any boxer, retiring boxer could be a good coach. I mean, yeah, look at John David Jackson. You know what I mean? He was a fighter. Wasn't obviously well known. You know what I mean? But you know, he was a fighter, and he's a damn good coach to me. As I said, I just have him Coach of the Year. So no, Rob, I got to agree with you 100%. You know, but also, look, I hear what you're saying, Lucas, in terms of Canelo. Because listen, you know, there was no way. I don't think there's anyone who picked, or rather, anyone outside of the UK that picked Liam Smith beating Canelo. So you know, he could have trained himself for that fight, and he would have gotten the win. So
it's and
John David, outside of Kovalev, he did not do a good job with Stevenson. You gotta admit that. That fight was mediocre for Stevenson. You have to admit that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do admit it, but also let's take into consideration he hurt his hand. He hurt his hand, and John David Jackson really let Kurt, keep his composure in that fight. I think he actually fractured his hand, if I'm not mistaken. And for the fact that he was like, okay, you know what, listen, your hand's messed up, but you got your other one. And Curtis Stevens, being a fighter who's vastly talented, but has always been kind of, up and down in terms of where he is mentally. The fact that he was able to push through that and John David Jackson was instructing him what to do because he had a hurt hand. And that's what I like to see my trainers. I like to see my trainers who have the composure when a fighter is, having an issue. And that's the reason why I was impressed with him. I was really impressed with him because if I knew that my fighter, who is a two-handed fighter, has one hand, I'm going to be freaking out. Saying, okay, I don't know what to do. You should clinch a little more. But he really kept his composure and got the W.
How about Robert?
Well,
How about Robert Garcia's taming down of Abner Mares? I mean, he doesn't let him go crazy. We all know Abner Mares likes to get in there and just swing wildly. And Cuellar was like, come on, man, come on. Trying to egg him into it.
Everybody got to say their top performance of the weekend but me. And that's my top performance, y'all. Mares is back, baby. I love Mares. I
That's
love
a good
him.
fight, but I didn't see it as like breakout performance or anything. I mean, it was a good showing.
He's a champion. A breakout performance. Come on, Jules. Help me out on this one. You see what I'm facing on this team, right?
Nah, Rob, listen, Luke, that was a great performance. I got to say that, especially, after the loss. I think we always try to see how our fighters are going to come back. And actually, I think you mentioned that on the chat. You know what I mean? How Mars, he was, like he kept his composure, but he's very aggressive, and he went for the win. I mean, he looked great. He looked phenomenal. I was actually surprised, Luke, as you just said, he didn't go crazy because I expected him, to throw wild shots, go in there and do what he always does best. But he looked good.
Right, and that's one thing that I definitely will give Robert Garcia for, because nobody else has been really able to tame down and control Mares. I mean, they always say, don't go in there and swing wildly, and there goes Mares doing what he does best. So to see him actually gain that control, gain the composure, means that Robert Garcia was able to break him down, and that's always good to hear. But like you were saying, Rob, with Cotto and people, Cotto gives Freddie Roach all this respect and everything, and I don't necessarily think it's all Freddie Roach. It's more just somebody that's willing to be, especially at that stage in your career, somebody that's just willing to not be that yes man, somebody that's willing to just get you in the shape that you need to be in. And as long as you're willing to be a student, then a trainer can teach you. But you get these people that don't want to listen to anything. Kirkland with every other trainer besides Ed Wolf, obviously. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But you just have to find that fit. So really, trainer of the year is kind of hard to say, because I think you're talking about big professional boxing, but there's a lot of little coaches here and there with guys that are undefeated that you might not even heard of yet.
Well, I mean, look at Jesse Vargas's new trainer. I mean, he brought.
Oh yeah, Dewey Cooper. Yeah.
Right.
He put something at Jesse Vargas that we hadn't seen in a while, or I guess ever. They seem to mesh really well. So,
But still,
it is tough to pick the trainer of the year.
And trainers get, they're going to get shit on if you lose. That's not necessarily their fault. Sometimes it's your own dumbass fault, like Fonfara dropping his hands. Sam Kalina is a good trainer, but he can't hold his hands up for you. I don't know what else to say about that. You know what I mean? And you drop him at the first sign of trouble. You get knocked out in the first round, you drop your trainer. So now you're making your trainer look bad, like it's his fault. People are afraid to come to him. That's not his fault. But I guess that's part of the business. Okay, we did fight of the year, trainer of the year. what other awards would you hand out, guys?
Knockout of the year.
We haven't done knockout. Pretty good idea of who you guys are going to say to that, though. Rob, go ahead with it.
You know, I'm a pass right now. I'm a pass.
What? Rob, I didn't expect you to pass on that one.
I'm
I'm kind of shell shocked right now. What, Rob? Really? You're passing?
I'm passing right now because there's a couple I have in mind. I'm passing right now. Hector, go ahead, Hector.
Amir Khan. I think getting just absolutely sent to another planet by Canelo.
Yeah.
No doubt.
That one was bad, man. And that's what I will say is the biggest disappointment of the year. I hated how all the media was all for this fight. And I'm like, why is this fight even being made? It was clearly a money grab. But everybody else was like all excited. Oh, Canelo Khan. Like it's Mayweather Pacquiao or something. Like it's to end all who's the best. I hated that fight, every second of it. I would have picketed the fight outside if I could have, but, you know. I agree, though. That was definitely probably a knockout of the year. Not really a lot that can stand up to that one. But Rob, are you still done, or should I come back to you now?
Man, I'm not going with Canelo Khan. I'm not doing it. I'm not picking that knockout. Yeah, it was a good knockout. We all expected it, though. There was no drama there.
I mean, yeah.
You didn't expect it, Rob? You said he was going to win, didn't you?
Yeah, he was saying Khan was going to win and outbox him, and we were going to see, treat him like Laura did, all that. We were out.
You say Khan is going to win that fight.
Say what?
Yes. I agree. I'm going with one of Luis Ortiz fights. I don't care. Whichever one. He had the knockout of the year. Jules, you in agreement? Canelo over Khan?
You know why I gotta be in agreement, Rob? I'm sorry to disappoint you because I was a sucker. I did pay for that fight, and I remember watching that fight, and Khan was actually outboxing Canelo at times. He was actually making Canelo look slow. I remember. And then when that knockout happened, I got the Holy Ghost, guys. I got up from my chair. I woke up everybody in my house because when Khan hit the floor, you knew he was in the Matrix. He had no idea where he was. He took the blue pill. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go with that one. Runner up though is last weekend, Charlo J Rock. I thought that was a great uppercut knockout. That's my runner up. But yeah, Canelo Khan gets my. I gotta go with you, Hector. That gets my my knockout of the year.
Yeah, the J Rock one was good because he was able to land the uppercut. He knew he was going down before he even went down. It was walking away while J Rock was falling down. I mean,
yeah, it was pretty sick.
So,
I got
some style
So
points.
go back to Adonis's last fight. That was a hell of a knockout. Adonis Stevenson's last fight.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't remember for some reason. Who
Yeah,
did he
it
knock
was,
out?
Oh, jeez. He's southpaw.
Some no-name game, but it doesn't matter. It was a hell of a knockout, though. It was a hell of a knockout.
What's his name, man? Oh, man.
I mean, like we could go back years and say Garcia Solco. That's kind of what I feel like we're doing with Canelo Khan. I don't want to do that because it was clearly like a fight that shouldn't be happening.
Lomachenko Martinez was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a bad one. That was good.
Oh yeah, that was actually near Rocky Martinez. I thought he was seriously hurt. Yeah.
He like went limp.
Let me see. I believe I can actually show that to the viewers too, because I'm pretty sure I have a video of that on our Facebook page. actually show that to the viewers too, because I'm pretty sure I have a video of that on our Facebook page. Actually show that to the viewers too, because I'm. Maybe not. Take too long to find it probably, but
Bother anybody? That was a hell of a knockout.
Fonfara getting knocked out. I would consider that upset of the year, guys.
Yeah, I have to agree. That was definitely upset of the year because I had Fonfara winning that fight.
And I think it could be definitely a runner-up, Rob, but I think it just wasn't a high-profile enough fight to consider it for knockout. All right, last thing, guys. We talked a little bit about it. Of course, we all talked last week, too, about Kirkland facing Cotto. I think it's a good fight, but neither here nor there. Sources are saying that Ann Wolfe is actually going to be back in training James Kirkland for this fight. Does it make a difference? Hector?
Yeah, I think it makes a difference. Anytime Kirkland has Ann Wolfe, he's a different fighter, you know. I don't think this is as straightforward as people think it is. You know, I think Kirkland should have a significant size advantage over Cotto. I mean, just from...
You would always think that, and in my mind, like, I thought Canelo had a huge size advantage over Cotto, and they're pretty similar. I mean, Canelo was definitely bigger in weight, but as far as height goes, I mean, he was right there.
Yeah, and you know, to me, it all depends on whether Cotto can gain that respect early on. You know, we know what Kirkland's gonna do. Kirkland's not in there to box and move. He's in there to come straight at you and try to get you out of there. So, I think he would. You know, if I had to bet a lot of money on it, I would definitely go Cotto because of his boxing skills, and I think he's gonna land. I think. We talked to Jules about that landing that left hook. Eventually, he's going to set it up and just land that counter left hook, and it should be a good night for Kirkland. But yeah, to me, it depends on whether he can gain that respect from Cotto, or Cotto gains that respect from Kirkland early on, you know, and hurts him early on, because we know Kirkland's going to be coming straight for him.
A lot of people don't even think Kirkland has a chance, and I'm telling you, if I can get some good odds, like a 10-1 or something like that, I'm gonna put some money down on this fight. It's got a style clash that definitely may not favor Cotto. I mean, he doesn't get a whole lot of pressure type fighters, and like I said last week, I mean, when you looked at the Margarito fight, I think Margarito was starting to come back even in the second fight. You're starting to slowly wear him down, and that's kind of what Kirkland does, is he slowly just kind of chops you down like a tree. He doesn't really have one-punch knockouts, if you guys look at it. He slowly wears you out with volume, really. Yes, he has power, but he's not one-punch, usually wham, you're out type power.
Yeah, and it's the strength. It's a strength. He's strong.
It's more like Angulo fight. I mean, he just completely wore him down and put him away. It's just a different style clash, and I know Rob's looking at me like I'm completely biased right now towards Kirkland, and that's not even it. I mean, that was probably knockout of the year last year is him getting knocked out by Canelo. So, but
I mean, you know what? To answer your question though, and Wolf being there, I agree with you. I think it does make a difference. It means that she's going to make sure he doesn't pack any guns when he comes into the airport. Aside from that, no. In the ring, no. It makes no difference. But she'll make sure that he leaves the guns at home.
You've seen the training that Ann Wolfe puts him through, right?
Yeah, it's something else, man. Seeing that heavy bag in the back of the pickup truck, and he's got to hit like that is some just straight up. I don't even think Rocky can make up the training that she does with him. It's something else. And that Texas heat, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. He's sparring cruiserweights, sparring multiple people at the same time. This stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing, but it works.
That has little to none to do with actual boxing. other than fighting. It has little to none to do with actual boxing,
I
and
agree to
you need
disagree.
boxing to beat Cotto. Period.
I agree to
I, I
disagree.
I
If you
think
put somebody through hell,
I think
then
she
when it comes around to, a Miguel Cotto, it's not going to feel as bad. It's like
I,
weight training, man.
I think she puts him in a different mindset. You know,
That too.
yeah, I think yeah, Hector, I agree with you 100%. I think and Wolf is more. I mean, granted, physically he's in shape with her, but I think as you said, it's the mindset. You know what I mean? To say like, listen, if you can go through the hell that I'm going to go through, then the fight is going to be easy. But I want to go back to what you guys are saying about if it's going to make a difference. I think it's going to be like the way that he fought Canelo when he was really uptight and really having Canelo up close and things of that nature. And I'm a huge Cotto fan. I love Cotto. I actually predict Cotto actually may get dropped in this fight, but I'm having like deja vu of when Cotto fought Ricardo Torres a while back. I think that's how it's going to go. I think Cotto's going to come back from the canvas to win, and I think once he gets up, I think he's going to get Kirkland with that left hook. I think he's going to wait for it. He's going to counter, and he's going to get him. But I think it's going to be an entertaining scrap.
I mean, it's got my money. I mean, a lot of people don't want to pay. I understand, not being in a pay-per-view fight. It probably should be regular HBO, but Rock Nation needs to pay their fighter $10 million, so they got to do what they got to do.
Yeah, they got to do what they got to do. Yeah, 10 million's a steep.
But all right, got any final words before we end the show for the night?
Okay, guys.
I should have said anything.
No,
I'm
this
joking,
the
man.
big
Go ahead.
Joshua Klitschko. I need thoughts on that. April 29th, Wembley Stadium.
I'm just gonna say.
Jewel,
I'm just gonna say. I think Klitschko is finally done. I think the age finally hit him. I don't think he can do it anymore. I mean, he's old. He's big. He's awkward anyway. He's been kind of semi-chinny. It's just that nobody could get to the damn chin. Now that there's people out there that can get it, his awkward style, he's not very, what's the word I'm looking for? His movement is just too coordinated. Yes, thank you. He's so boxy. He's just so awkward. I think Joshua beats him, and I think he's going to do it fairly easily.
yes, I have not felt this just like confident about a guy winning. I think Joshua is going to destroy Klitschko. I think he's going to absolutely destroy him. Klitschko has been on top of that division for a long time, in large part to the fact that he had a significant size advantage against everybody. He was able to wear fighters down. Like the Povetkin fight. I mean, that fight, he basically took Povetkin's legs away just by laying on him. Laying on him, pushing him down, holding him. Povetkin was falling by himself, and they're like the sixth round. This fight, he's not going to be able to move Joshua. Joshua is a monster. He is huge. He's not going to have a size advantage, and I understand that Klitschko has been in a lot of fights. He's a veteran. He's got a lot of skills. He's crafty. But Joshua is a beast, man, and I think he's gonna hurt Klitschko. He's gonna end his career.
Is he crafty though? Does he have skills? Have we even had to see him? I mean, the guy gets by with just being big, and he got lucky. He got a weak division for quite a long time. Is he impressive? Yes. I mean, the reign that he had, regardless, is still impressive, but I honestly think he's very overrated.
I mean, I think you're in the game this long. You have some, just skills here and there that you just learn with time. I don't think there's plenty of tricks. I'm sure he knows that Joshua hasn't even encountered yet.
You would think that. I would have thought that about Tyson Fury, but we showed really that once somebody can get to him and doesn't have to get inside that long-ass reach of his, that he doesn't know what to do. He had no idea. There was no boxing. There was no use your feet. He was the same awkward guy that usually just holds and does a simple 1-2. And he just couldn't do it because Tyson Fury's just too big. But that was my take on it. I don't know. A lot of people probably don't agree with that. Rob, you asked the question. What do you think?
I mean, I think you guys are berating Klitschko because of that performance with Tyson Fury.
No, it's not just that. Povetkin laid on him. He lays on a lot of people, man. That's the way I see it. But go ahead.
I think this fight will be different. I think the style matchup to me mirrors that of Klitschko versus David Haye. The only difference is Joshua's no David Haye. He's more talented. So he's in quite a bit of trouble. But I think they'll be able to go toe to toe for a little while in that fight, at least the 6th round. And that's when I think it'll get interesting because Joshua either has to take over or I think Klitschko's experience is able to wear him down. Honestly, Joshua has not been past the 7th round in any fight. So you can't take that little bit of experience in the ring with you facing a Klitschko.
Well, he's going to, so we'll see. me and Hector pretty much say he's going to demolish it. Rob, you're kind of on the fence. Jules, what's your take on it?
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I am. I hate to admit this, but yes, I am on the. I'm on the Anthony Joshua bandwagon. You can tell your dad this, Rob. He'll be proud because I'm on the Anthony Joshua bandwagon. I think what it is, he has the look of what we want to see from a heavyweight champion. Very imposing, as you said, Hector. I mean, he's a big guy, and I've unfortunately had to watch the Klitschko versus Fury match twice, which was twice too many. But in that fight, it looked like it was like, Klitschko couldn't pull the trigger. That's what it looked like. It looked like his brain was saying do something, but his body couldn't react. That's how I took it. And I think that, I don't know if it's wars, old age, whatever it is. I think that's what's happening. I think the reaction time for Klitschko has slowed down a little bit. And I think that's going to be a huge problem for him against a young guy like Anthony Joshua. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. If Klitschko catches Anthony Joshua, like Rob said, it could be a whole different fight because we've also seen that Anthony Joshua can get stunned. He took a couple of big shots from who was it? I think it was Dillian White. Anybody correct me? Yeah, right. I think it was Dylan White that he took a couple of shots from, and he was wobbled. And Klitschko was a much bigger puncher. We could say whatever we want about what he does, 1-2, and very boxy, but he can hit. So if he does hit Joshua, there is a possibility that Joshua goes down. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see it. I think Joshua comes out, and guns blazing, and Klitschko. I will say that was he, one of the greatest champions? Definitely not. But I think he's second in title defenses or third after Larry Holmes. Forgive me if I'm correct, if I'm wrong. I think he's third or tied. So you got to give him his credit. But I think Joshua wins. I think he actually knocks out Klitschko.
All right. So Rob, with you being on the fence, it's safe to say that we kind of almost unanimously decide that Joshua's going to knock him out.
No, I'm not gonna solidify any pick until closer to the fight. I mean,
fair enough. Of course, we're gonna go back over it once it's closer. Things change, but.
What you saying, Hector?
He said not me.
That's fine, but duly noted, I did pick Fury.
I did too.
That is true.
I'll give you credit on the Fury pick. All right. Well,
I picked Klitschko. So I'm man enough to know that I was wrong.
I think everybody did on our show and on our whole page, I gathered everybody's that writes for us, and we all picked except for Rob. So I will give Rob the credit where it's due. And I hate to say it, Rob. Look at you smiling. All right, guys. For Hector, Rob, and Jules, this was Tough Talk Tuesday. Join us again next week. See you guys.
All right, fellas.
All right, see y'all.
All right, fellas.
Have a good night.
All right, fellas.
Later, guys.
All right, see y'all.
Later. All right, fellas.
Have a good night.
All right, fellas.
Later, guys.
All right, see y'all.
Later. All right, fellas.